WKAL1450, WKAL. It's Bob and Rick in the morning. It's 8:30 in Rome. And thank you so much for making us part of your morning routine. If you haven't already, make us part of your Facebook routine as well. WKAL1450 and online at WKAL1450.com. It's our pleasure to have in studio now. It's Rabbi Didy Waks from Clinton, New York. Rabbi, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you coming in this morning.
My pleasure. Good morning.
Good morning. And we were just kind of talking before we went on the air and trying to get to know you a little bit. And very interesting what you're doing in the Clinton area and what you're trying to do at Hamilton College. Kind of fill us in on what you're trying to do in the area and at the college.
Okay, so very briefly, we moved about 4 months ago from Florida, Palm Beach, Florida.
Now, what were you thinking? Why would you move from Florida to Central New York at this time of the year? You picked the wrong month, Rabbi.
No, it's actually been a pretty nice winter, I hear, so far.
So far, yeah, it has been.
We believe it's God's hand in trying to make it a comfortable move for us. And we moved to the Clinton area to service the Jewish community, the scattered Jewish community of Utica, New Hartford, Clinton, but we've stationed in Clinton to service specifically the Jewish student population at Hamilton College.
Okay. Now, how did that all come about? Because obviously Florida to Hamilton College is kind of a distant, so there must have been some kind of connection there.
So we are part of a Jewish movement and a Jewish, I would say, stream of Judaism called Chabad. You may have heard of it before, Chabad. It's an international organization and stream of Judaism. It's part of the ultra-Orthodox Judaism. Not getting too into depth, but one of our main things is outreach and reaching out to other Jews, specifically those who are not part of an organized Jewish community. So we go out, we have, Jewish communities traditionally are in New York, Israel, LA, some of the bigger places, bigger cities. And Chabad has representatives in I forgot how many, but we're talking about dozens and dozens of countries where there are numbers of Jews, small little cities. There are now 49 out of 50 states have a Chabad representative, and many of them have very few Jews. It was the Lubavitcher Rebbe, the leader of the Chabad movement, who had a vision that every Jew who was once hunted down in hate, the Holocaust and other persecution, should be hunted down in love, where we're just trying to bring them together and make sure that no one's left behind, so to speak.
So how did you get the call? I mean, they say they call you in and say, hey, listen, we want to send you to Clinton, New York, or was this kind of talked about and say, look, we're looking to do this in Clinton, New York? Who would like to go and establish the work?
Right, that's a good question. We were working for a synagogue in doing youth and teen programming in Palm Beach, and we loved what we were doing. But we always wanted to do something else. You're not really called upon anymore. It used to be you were called upon, but now the movement's so big and it's become almost fashionable to do this kind of crazy work and unconventional work. And so we always wanted to sort of dedicate ourselves to students. We like that demographics more than anything. We like that there was a small Jewish community here too, or Jewish population, I shouldn't say community, that we could sort of get to know. There is a small Jewish community too. So we sort of, it was all, we like to say God's hand, others would say coincidence, but it was sort of, we found one thing after another, and before we knew it, we found this college, and we thought there was something to be done here.
So just kind of looking back on it, it wasn't just one particular thing, but a kind of a number of things that kind of led to this. That's fantastic.
Yeah, we were looking at a number of colleges, and this is the one that just happened to be.
Fantastic, and you get to come to Central New York in the winter. I'll never get over that. That's but you are right. So far, it's been very mild. So you've the divine providence.
And my kids love it.
Oh, do they really?
So who cares?
Fantastic. Well, talk a little bit about your family. When you say, hey, we're going to go to Clinton, did you discuss this beforehand and kind of work it out with the family, or what were their thoughts before the move?
I told my wife it was in Florida. No, I'm kidding. It's something we both wanted to do. My kids are only 3 and 1.5, so they had very little opinion in the matter. And I was worried because my son loved sunbathing and hanging out.
Sure.
We lived across the road from the beach, so it was really the place to be. But he absolutely loves the snow. loves it. He spends more time out there than he spent outside, because Florida's hot. Let's be honest.
yeah.
I don't like the heat either. So he spends a lot of time in the snow building snowmen. He even puts a yarmulke on his snowman. It's very serious stuff. So
Well,
we
that's
love it.
fantastic. Well, you won't have to worry about heat for the next, Rick, 7 or 8 months? He should be pretty good. That's when the heat kicks in here in central New York. Well, Rabbi, another one of the reasons we brought you on was to talk about the Hanukkah celebration that's going on, and maybe elaborate on Hanukkah, what it is, and then how it's celebrated, maybe specifically in your household or in the Jewish community in the Clinton area.
Okay, great question. In very, very brief, the story of Chanukah, I just want to get the exact years and everything because I hate making things up, but I don't have them, so it's okay. But around 2,000 years ago, while the Jews populated what is now Israel, there was the entry of the Assyrian Greeks with their king Antiochus. I don't know many of the English names, I apologize. But the Assyrian Greeks came and they had a Hellenistic way of life, a very pagan way of life. And it was very not spiritual and not holy, and more about the human body and about, it was, I guess, the then secularists, if you will. And at the beginning, they didn't come to fight. They came to simply assimilate the Jews into their culture. Which is quite interesting. They came to another land and then tried to assimilate the locals. But and they managed to do that to a great extent because the Jews loved that kind of thing, many of them. And many of them did assimilate, and Jewish culture and religion was almost lost. And then some of the Jews started to fight back. Matisyahu and his children, they said, no, we have to stay Jewish and we have to keep our tradition. And they had no problem with that, our rabbis say. Their problem was that it shouldn't be holy and sanctified. In other words, we have the holy day of the week. They couldn't stand that. There's no such thing as a holy day. Every day is the same. Every person's the same. You can, have relations with who you want. You can eat what you want. Nothing is sanctified or different or special. And that was the core concept of what the Jews were fighting for during this period of time.
Okay.
And then it became a war. And when they won the war, one of the symbolic things that happened is to light the menorah in the temple, you needed oil. And the oil had to have sort of a kosher stamp. Am I talking too fast?
No, you're doing very well.
It needed to have a kosher sign from the high priest of the temple. And so they couldn't find one that had that because the Assyrian Greeks had defiled the temple and had broken all the seals. They found one and they lit it, knowing that it wasn't going to last more than one day, and it would take them about 8 days to get new oil because they had to travel, make it, and come back. And
there was no
miracle.
FedEx back then, no UPS.
FedEx.
No, this is
and USPS you can't trust. No, I'm kidding. So they lit it, and there's many different versions on what happened, and it lasted 8 days. That's the, so to speak, the miracles. The main miracles are that we won the war, and that we were a tiny little army against a very organized big army, well-funded army, and that they tried to sort of extinguish the light of Judaism, and it continued to shine, and the same thing happened with the actual oil. And so we celebrate that by lighting candles for 8 days, and each day we light one more. So we start with one, and today we're up to, last night we lit 6, tonight we'll light 7. And then we talk about the miracle that happened. It's not a biblical holiday, it's a rabbinic holiday, which means that's why I'm allowed to talk on the radio on a regular Shabbat, Sabbath, on any other holiday. I don't drive, I don't do anything. This is a holiday that you can basically do everything except for enjoy. We don't go to services, special services necessarily.
Okay.
But it's become a very celebrated holiday, and there's many theories on why that has happened, primarily because Jews in America have competition called Christmas, so we need our own holiday. But I don't think it's because of the significance, and if we're already celebrating it, we may as well talk about the significance of the holiday.
Now, Hanukkah is over an 8-day period, correct? Is there certain things you do on like day 1, day 2, day 3, or is it simply the honoring of the miracle of the oil?
So on the first day you party, on the second day you party harder. No, there really isn't. Besides for lighting the candle, there are customs that come with it. We eat oily foods. That really is a custom. Jews specifically eat potato It's a potato patty, which we call a latka, and it's sort of deep fried or shallow fried, pan fried, whatever you call it. And then we eat donuts, but they're special donuts, Israeli donuts called sufganiyot, which don't have the hole.
Okay.
Yeah, they like to say Jews eat the rolls with a hole, bagel, and then we eat donuts without a hole, whatever. So we eat that, and then we also give out, there's different customs giving out chocolate coins. We play the dreidel.
Uh-huh.
There's different reasons for each of these things. A lot of it is sort of just custom that has attached to the Jewish people. There are reasons for some of them. Dreidel, they say that the spin top that we spin and play games is because they say that when the kids were studying Torah, and that was banned at the time by the Assyrian Greeks, the kids, when the soldiers would come, they would quickly start playing dreidel and say they were playing a game. Whether or not, there's different versions, but that's become the custom. And now on four sides of the spin, it says, it has four Hebrew letters which translate, which when spelled out, it says, a great miracle happened there. So that's sort of what we...
Oh, fantastic. You answered the question before I even asked it. I was going to ask you because I always wondered what was on the dreidel, what are the symbols on the dreidel, because I just don't know. So that's fantastic. You answered the question before I asked it.
It's 4 letters, and they stand for words which spell out that sentence.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yep.
Now,
and in Israel, it says a great miracle happened here. So they have a different version of the dreidel. So you can't import.
I guess that's how you know if they're from Israel or if they're from America.
Yes.
There you go. What for you? What makes the celebration of Hanukkah? The celebration of Hanukkah. What is it for you and maybe your family that makes it so special?
Well, in a practice-wise, we like to sit by the candles together and light them, and it's sort of a tradition. The symbol of the tradition is what is so strong in all of us, and why families take it so seriously, I think many at least, is that they tried to annihilate our religion more than us. It ended up being, a war, and they tried to kill us, but the main thing was to get rid of our religion. So when we sit together and look at the lights and view them as the lights of, of Judaism and the lights of just spirituality in our lives and how we want to perpetuate that, we sort of, it strengthens our own identity, and I think that's what Jews really need to think about. And instead of borrowing different terms from different religions, now they have a Chanukah bush and they have all different kinds of things. We have what's going for us, so to speak, and we need to celebrate that, and we have to make sure that in 100 years, there's going to be Jews celebrating Chanukah. Otherwise, we lost the war,
so to speak. Yeah, that well said. That is fantastic. Is there any special Hanukkah celebrations you're doing in the community that people
you missed the boat? We had a beautiful Chanukah lighting that we did with the Hillel on campus, and we had 100 students who attended that.
Oh, fantastic!
And we had a 15-foot menorah. Supposed to be 12 foot, but I couldn't put it into the ground. So it was above ground through 3 foot. So it was a 15-foot menorah, and we lit another small menorah also, and we gave out tons of donuts and latkes. I actually have a menorah on my car. You can come have a look afterwards. Mm-hmm. And that's part of the tradition of the day, is to actually spread the light. And it actually says that in the Code of Jewish Law, that one has to do the mitzvah of lighting the candles, fulfill their obligation with lighting the candles in the most public way possible, because it's a public mitzvah, whereas some things are done in private. This is a public one. Everyone should enjoy the light of Hanukkah, Jews and non-Jews. And while we're not a proselytizing religion, we believe that everyone can appreciate some of the ideas. So we did a public menorah lighting there, and then we did one in our house 2 nights later for the local Jewish community. And hopefully next year, we had around 25 people this year. We hope to have 100 locals next year.
And one of the things I wanted to do, Rabbi, if someone wanted to get in contact with you, maybe they didn't know that this was happening, or if they want more information, how can they get a hold of you, or maybe the Jewish community in the area?
Mm-hmm. So you could check us out on the web. It's Chabad, Chabad, Clinton.com. And you don't have to be from Clinton to come to us, but that's just where we're located. Mm-hmm. So ChabadClinton.com, or you can call us directly. It's 347 is the area code, 300-8130. 347-300-8130.
And so far, how have things been received on campus and in the community in general?
It's actually beyond our expectations. We were very impressed and very welcomed by the college. We don't have a formal relationship, so to speak, with the college yet. We don't work with the college, but we've introduced ourselves, and the people there are very receptive about having us around and sort of accommodating us. and the locals have been even more welcoming. And like I said, we were able to have a party with that many locals. It's really wonderful. And there's many Jews who live here who are not part of an organized Jewish community. They're more than welcome to hop along and enjoy the ride.
No, is there something that you got a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan, or is it just kind of we'll see how God
question.
leads and where we go from here?
In general, Chabad families that move out, it's usually a lifetime commitment.
Okay.
So I like to tell the professors on campus, I start with tenure. But
I like that.
But you know, God knows what will happen. But our goal is, and we definitely see a positive. We're on a positive way right now, so hopefully it will continue in this way. And we'll see.
That's fantastic. And buy your wife a new coat for Christmas, you'll be all set.
Chanukah.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. I'm sorry, Hanukkah. I let it slip. But well, it's good to meet you. We were excited when we were learned that you were going to be able to come in here and sit down and talk with us, because you don't get to do this every day. And Rick, thank you for helping put this together as well.
Well, it's great to have you here. It really is a great connection between us and Hamilton College and with your organization as well. I really want to schedule you to come back, and maybe we can slow down and do some more history things. I think a lot of our audience is interested in history. And there certainly is a lot to that. So maybe we could do a series. And I wouldn't mind if you brought a student or two with you. That would be a great idea. Maybe we could have a little round table on the air. That would be a great experience for them. And talk about history and talk about significance and what it means to be Jewish and all of that great history that goes with it. I bet there are a lot of people who would be interested in hearing that. Great experience for them, too. Now, I have a very simple question for you. Spell Hanukkah. And there's a reason why there's a reason why I'm asking. I have seen Hanukkah I've seen it spelled and pronounced differently. I've heard it pronounced Chanukah, Hanukkah, and there are a few other ways. So as far as you're concerned, spell it for me or explain why it's spelled different ways and how do you pronounce it correctly?
Okay, so it's spelled Ches Nun Vav Kaf Hey. That's the Hebrew spelling. That's the best I can guarantee you on a correct spelling. The English spelling is however you want. I have students ask me, how should I spell it? I mean, no one decided how to spell Chanukah. It's not an English word. I see it spelled sometimes with 2 N's, with 2 K's, with a CH, or just with the H. It's all about how you pronounce it. And it is pronounced in the Hebrew as Chanukah.
Okay, because I have heard it pronounced that way.
Right, but it is pronounced now as Hanukkah, and more the stress is on the other part of the word. But it's the same holiday.
Well, we Americanize in this country, as I can tell. Where were you born?
I was born in Australia.
Okay, I can tell by the.
You can hear something's
wrong. I can tell. Yeah, well, no, I can tell by the accent that you weren't necessarily American-born. The reason why I say that is because we Americanize everything over here, and sometimes people come here from foreign countries and they hear the way we pronounce things, and they're always telling us that we don't say things right. So
I have a whole lot of those, by the way.
I can imagine so. But we welcome you to our studios. I think it's great that we've made contact with you. I want to schedule you and have you come back more, and I would love to be involved to some degree with some of the students that you interact with. I think it would be great for them to come on the air and explain their involvement and their beliefs and some of the history.
Awesome. Looking forward.
Absolutely. It was great meeting Rabbi Didy Waks from the Clinton area, working with Hamilton College. Rabbi, it was great meeting you, and like Rick said, welcome back anytime. We appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you so much.